My name is Deepak Bhatt. I've completed my MSc in Mathematics from Central University of Karnataka and my BSc Honors in Mathematics from Dal Singh College, Delhi University. This project was part of the assignment given to me by Rapidious. Here, I analyzed the Epicurious dataset from Kaggle using Python to uncover insights on top ingredients in highly rated recipes, aiming to help users discover popular and well received dishes. So, let's start uh, with the EDA. For this, first we imported the required libraries. First, for the data manipulation, I imported NumPy and Pandas, and for visualization, I imported C1 and Matplotlib. Next, I set the custom palette to be used throughout the project. Then we loaded the dataset. I've already downloaded it in my system and put it in the same folder and just use the read underscore CSV function of pandas to import the dataset. Next, we did the basic check on the data, like what are the entries it has. We can already see that it has some null values. Next, we move on to the data cleaning part. Here, as we have seen in the earlier part also, there are some null values. Uh, Basically, there are only null values in the four columns with calories, protein, fat, and sodium. So I just filled these values with the mean as we have to take our assumption, and it's not wise to remove 4,000 entries out of the 20,000 given. So I thought it would be best to just fit it with the mean values. Next, we describe the data. Here we can see that there are some minimum values are zero in the case of rating and other calories, protein, uh, whereas all the other columns are just having the binary values of 0 and 1 as it can be seen here. So I created a new data set and where I set the ratings and all to be greater than 0 and calories, etc. to be greater than 0. Next, we have a look at the like all the columns available. So we can see like there are many the columns which does not belong to the dataset and does not belong to our analysis, such as the name Alaska. These are the places name Australia, etc. So we also need to get rid of these entries. Next, we move on to the outlier treatment. So basically, our outliers will be these five columns. Visualize the outliers using the box plot function of the C-bond. So we can see that there are some outliers present in all these columns. Get rid of these outliers, we use the interquartile range function, and we just followed the standard process of removing the outliers. And this is the result after removing the outliers. As we can see now, there are no outliers in the dataset. But as it's we have to also apply our business knowledge. So we set some boundaries, some boundary conditions in which the value should lie. These are mentioned here. Now we also dropped those columns in which the majority of data was zero, as it will be very irrelevant to our uh, analysis. Uh, I use this function to get rid of all the columns, and these are the columns after the cleaning. So we can say that mostly the state data, like the country, state name, have been removed. This is the final data set we've described. And this is the Next, moving on to the EDA part and the data visualization. First, I visualize the distribution for the ratings. We can see that most of the values lie in the range from 4 to 5. Similarly, I did for the calories column. Here also we can see that most of the dishes have calories between 100 and 700 in this range. Similarly, for protein, it lies between 0 to 20. For fat, majority lies in 0 to something like all part, but majority of the data lies between 0 to 30. And for the sodium, it also the majority lies in the 0 to 510 mark. The majority of the data lies between 0 to 5. Next, I move on to the correlation analysis. Here, I try to find the correlation between all these variables, the rating, calories, and etc. So these are the correlation values I got, and I used the heat map function of Seaborn to visualize this correlation coefficients. So we can see that rating does not have any correlation with all the other variables, whereas these variables have some correlation between them. Notably, the correlation between fat and calories is very high, and we can also see confirm this from the graph. We can see that there is a linear correlation between them. So this, as we already know that the foods that are high in fat have obviously high calories. Similarly, there is some very high, like not very high, but high correlation between protein and calories, and some correlation between fat and protein. And these are the observations that I've written here. Next, moving on to the question like which are the more popular, veg or the non-veg dishes? So I've calculated using the bar plot, which shows the count for each of the dishes. We can see that non-veg is much popular than the veg. This may be the reason. And next, I wanted to answer what are the most common ingredients in the highly rated recipes. As there was no criteria given, so I took the criteria that rating more than 4 will be considered highly rated. I created a data set. These here I've stored all the highly rated ingredients. Plot bar plot of the matplotlib. I plotted this bar plot. Here we can see that these are the top 10 ingredients, but we can see a problem that none of these entries are ingredients. These are some like labels, preferences, etc. So we would need further tuning in order to get the ingredients here. Next is what are the top vegetarian dishes by calories count. Similarly, I use the bar plot here also. So we can see like these are the top 10 dishes with the highest calories count, and this chart may be useful for the consumer to have an idea of what all dishes are very high in calories. This can eating them regularly can be very dangerous to the health, so they can avoid the consumption of these dishes on a regular basis. Similarly, these are the non-veg dishes with high calorie count. Next, I analyzed about the protein, which all dishes have the highest protein count. We can see for the veg part, these are the 10 dishes with the highest protein count. And as we know that high protein count is very suitable for the consumers who are into like health and fitness. So consuming high protein diet can be very crucial for them. Next is the all the non-veg dishes, top non-veg dishes with the protein count. And here we can see that the protein count in the non-veg dishes is very higher compared to the veg counters. Like highest is 139, whereas for the veg it was only 88. So we know that non-veg dishes have usually higher protein count compared to the veg dishes. So this was all my analysis for the Epicurious recipe dataset. Thank you.